Hey there, garden friends and homesteaders. Welcome back to Farmyard Care. If this is your first time here, you found a channel that doesn't just repeat the same old farming advice everyone has heard 100 times. Around here, we look a little deeper because small-scale farming is not just about what sounds easy, it is about what actually works. Today, we need to talk honestly about one of the most common choices beginners make, chickens. Almost everyone starting a backyard homestead is told that chickens are the perfect first animal. They are described as simple, low maintenance, steady egg layers, and the easiest way to step into livestock. But after years of working with small farms and watching beginners struggle, I can tell you this. Chickens are not always the profit machine people imagine. Let's be real. Chickens often cost more, require more attention, and return less than many new farmers expect. Feed can make up 60% to 70% of your total chicken expenses, and on a small property, chickens usually cannot forage enough to seriously reduce that cost. Then you add predators, local zoning rules, noise concerns, coop maintenance, and the sharp drop in egg production during cold winter months. Suddenly, that easy flock starts looking like a lot of daily work for a very modest return. So, does that mean small farmers are stuck working harder for less? The truth is, there are other animals that can be far more valuable on limited land when you choose them carefully. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 animals that can outperform chickens in profit potential, space efficiency, and overall usefulness on a small farm. These are animals that can turn waste into value, produce food faster, support your garden, and create more than one income stream from the same setup. And make sure you stay with me until animal number 7, because it may completely change the way you think about the future of small farming. If you're ready to make your farm work smarter, support your family better, and stop following advice that does not fit your land, then let's get started. Section 1. The 8-week wonder, quail. Let's begin with one animal that far too many small farmers overlook, and in my experience, that is a costly mistake: the Coturnix quail. When space is limited and you cannot afford to wait months before seeing results, quail can become one of the most practical animals you ever raise. Think about the timeline. A chicken usually needs 5 to 6 months before it lays its first egg. Quail, by comparison, mature and begin laying in only 6 to 8 weeks. That means while a young chicken is still growing toward production age, your quail can already be giving you eggs, food, and potential income. On a small farm, that speed matters because faster production means faster feedback and a quicker return on your setup. Quail are also extremely efficient with space. You can keep a productive group in an enclosure no larger than a dog crate, and mature birds usually need only about 1 to 1.2 square feet each. That makes them ideal for stacked cages, compact pens, or small aviaries where chickens would simply take up too much room. Their eggs are another major advantage. Quail eggs are rich in protein, vitamin B12, and iron, and they are often seen as a specialty food rather than a basic farm product. Because of that, they can sell for more per dozen than chicken eggs, often reaching $5 to $8 in specialty markets or at farmers markets. And here is one benefit beginners often miss. Quail are far quieter than roosters. If you live in a suburban area where noise rules or zoning restrictions make chickens difficult, quail may still be allowed because they are often classified as game birds. They stay discreet, take little space, produce quickly, and can give you high-quality protein without creating problems with the neighbors. Section 2. The ultimate protein engine, meat rabbits. Moving on to the second animal, we have one of the best answers to high meat prices and limited land, meat rabbits. If your goal is to produce clean, lean protein from a small space, rabbits deserve serious attention. Rabbits are known for one of the strongest feed-to-meat conversion ratios in livestock. They can turn about 4 pounds of feed into 1 pound of healthy meat. That is far more efficient than cattle at around 7-1 or pigs at around 6-1. For a small farmer watching every dollar of feed cost, that difference is not small. It can decide whether your system feels profitable or frustrating. A single breeding doe can produce more than 200 pounds of meat in a year while using only a small corner of your backyard. A productive doe may have 5 to 6 litters annually, with each litter averaging 6 to 8 kits. From breeding to harvest, the process can take less than 90 days. Compare that with raising larger livestock, which often requires more land, more feed, and far more time. Rabbits are faster, cleaner, easier to manage, and highly efficient per square foot. But their value does not end with meat. If you garden, rabbit manure is one of the most useful byproducts you can get. Many growers call it garden gold for a reason. Chicken manure is considered hot and usually needs to be composted before use. But rabbit manure is a cold manure. You can apply it directly around vegetables without burning the plants. So with rabbits, you are not only producing meat for your family, You are lowering grocery costs, improving food security, and feeding your soil at the same time. For a backyard farm, that is a very powerful combination. Section 3. The passive income generators, honeybees. Now let's shift to an animal that works in a completely different way. What if you could raise livestock that keeps producing value while you sleep? That brings us to animal number 3, honeybees. Before you focus on the fear of stings or swarms, look at the numbers. A strong, healthy hive can produce around 30 to 60 pounds of honey in a year. With raw local honey often selling at a premium, one hive can bring in roughly $320 to $720 in potential first-year revenue, depending on your market and yield. But honey is only the first product. A hive also produces beeswax, which is valuable for candles, cosmetics, balms, and craft products. As your skills grow, there are even more possible products, such as propolis, pollen, and royal jelly. These specialty items can attract buyers who are willing to pay high prices, especially in wellness and natural product markets. The real beauty of bees, though, is what they do for the rest of your farm. By keeping bees, you are improving pollination across your property. Better pollination can mean more fruits, more vegetables, and stronger yields from the crops you are already growing. In some gardens, proper pollination can increase production by 30% to 50%. Which means your beehive may be helping your entire farm become more productive. And compared with many animals, the daily workload is surprisingly low. After the initial setup, you are mostly checking hive health for about 30 minutes every few weeks during the active season. There is no daily feeding like poultry, no manure to shovel, and no loud morning noise. When managed properly, honeybees can become one of the closest things to passive income on a small farm. Section 4. The gentle pest patrollers. Ducks, have you ever stepped into the garden and found your tender vegetables chewed up by slugs and snails? Overnight, that is exactly where animal number 4 earns its place, the duck. On a small farm, ducks are not just egg layers. They are some of the best natural pest control workers you can have. Unlike chickens, which scratch hard with their claws and can tear up mulch, expose roots, and damage young seedlings, ducks forage in a much gentler way. They move through the garden with their flat bills, searching through damp soil and around plants for slugs, snails, beetles, grubs, and other pests. When managed properly, they can clean up a garden without causing the same kind of destruction chickens often leave behind. Many gardeners notice a major drop in slug damage after adding ducks, sometimes by 50% to 70%. That means fewer ruined leaves, fewer damaged vegetables, and less need to rely on store-bought pest control. And pest control is only one part of their value. Ducks can also be excellent egg producers. Breeds like the Cocky Campbell are famous for laying heavily, often producing 300 eggs or more per year. Even better, many ducks continue laying through cold, dark months when chickens slow down or stop almost completely. Duck eggs are larger, richer, and higher in protein and omega-3 fatty acids. Bakers and pastry chefs love them because they add richness and structure to baked goods. Because of that, duck eggs can often be sold at premium prices, sometimes close to double the price of chicken eggs. Ducks also handle cold, wet weather very well, tend to be hardy, and are usually quieter than roosters. For a farm that needs eggs, pest control, and reliable performance through rough weather, ducks are a practical and valuable choice. Section 5. The multi-purpose marvels, goats. Now let's talk about an animal that truly understands the meaning of doing several jobs at once. The goat. Most livestock give you one main product. A chicken gives eggs. A meat animal gives meat. But a goat can give you milk, cheese, soap, breeding stock, meat, and land clearing power, all from the same animal. A good dairy goat can produce 1 to 2 gallons of rich, nutritious milk per day during peak lactation. Goat milk is highly valued in many markets because a lot of people find it easier to digest than cow milk. In some areas, raw goat milk can sell for around $8 to $12 per gallon, depending on local laws and demand. But the real income potential begins when you turn that milk into higher value products. Goat milk can become chev cheese, which may sell for $15 to $20 per pound, or handmade goat milk soap, which can bring $6 to $10 per bar. At that point, you are no longer selling only milk. You are selling a specialty farm product with a much stronger profit margin. What makes goats even more valuable is their ability to improve rough land. Goats are browsers, not grazers. They would rather eat weeds, brush, blackberry canes, woody plants, and invasive vines than plain grass. That makes them extremely useful on land that is overgrown, uneven, or expensive to clear by machine. Instead of paying thousands of dollars to remove brush, goats can turn problem areas into milk, meat, and future breeding value. For a small farm with rough ground, weeds, and unused corners, goats can become one of the most versatile investments you make. Section 6. The seasonal goldmine, turkeys now. What if you do not want to raise animals all year long, but you still want a strong seasonal return? That is where animal number 6 comes in, the turkey. Turkeys can be a seasonal goldmine, especially for farmers who know how to time their production. A processed chicken might sell for $15 to $30, but a pasture-raised turkey can often sell for $50 to $100 depending on its size, breed, and local market. Heritage turkeys can bring even higher prices because many customers value their flavor, texture, and natural foraging ability. The work of raising a flock is still real, but the revenue per bird is much higher. Instead of trying to compete with cheap grocery store chicken, you are offering a premium holiday product that families are already looking for. Turkeys do especially well on pasture. They eat grass, seeds, insects, and other natural foods, which can help reduce commercial feed costs when pasture is managed correctly. A heritage turkey raised on pasture might cost around $40 to $60 in inputs, but if it sells for $75 to $125, that leaves a potential profit of $35 to $65 per bird. Now multiply that by 20 or 30 birds, and you can see why turkeys are so attractive for small farms. With one well-planned seasonal flock, especially leading into November, you can create a strong burst of income without managing that animal every month of the year. Instead of racing to the bottom with low-priced commodity meat, you are producing a premium centerpiece for the holiday table. For the right farm and the right market, turkeys can turn a short season into serious profit. Section 7. The future of farming aquaponic fish. If we are talking about true small farm efficiency, then animal number 7 takes us into a very different kind of production. Fish, especially fish raised in an aquaponics system. This is not traditional soil farming. This is a more modern, highly efficient way to produce food in a small space. In an aquaponics setup, you raise fish such as tilapia, catfish, or trout in tanks. As the fish live and feed, they produce nutrient-rich waste in the water. That water is then moved into grow beds where you can raise valuable crops like lettuce, herbs, leafy greens, and other vegetables. The plants absorb those nutrients as food, and in the process, they help clean and filter the water. Then that same water flows back into the fish tanks, creating a continuous cycle. Instead of wasting water and fertilizer, the system reuses both. When managed correctly, it becomes a closed-loop setup where the fish support the plants, and the plants help support the fish. One of the biggest advantages of aquaponics is water savings. Because the water keeps recirculating, this type of system can use up to 90% less water than traditional soil-based farming. For anyone dealing with drought, poor soil, limited land, or unpredictable weather, that is a serious advantage. Aquaponics also allows you to produce food year-round. Snow, heavy rain, summer heat, or dry spells outside do not control your production in the same way, especially if the system is placed inside a greenhouse, shed, or even a garage. From one compact footprint, you can raise two valuable products at the same time: fresh fish and high-quality vegetables. Of course, aquaponics is not something you should enter casually. You need to understand water quality, oxygen, pH, temperature, and the balance between fish and plants. The learning curve is higher than raising a few birds in a pen. But for a focused farmer who likes systems and pays attention to details, the production per square foot can be outstanding. Section 8. The golden rule of small farming, master one first now. After hearing all of that, I know it is tempting to get excited and think, maybe I should start with quail, rabbits, bees, ducks, goats, turkeys, and fish all at once. But this is where experience has to speak louder than excitement. The most important rule in profitable small farming is simple. Do not try to do everything at the same time. One of the biggest reasons small farms fail is not lack of passion, it is overwhelm. People bring in too many animals too quickly, build too many systems, spend too much money on infrastructure, and then realize they do not have enough time, energy, or market knowledge to manage it all properly. Every animal comes with its own housing needs, feeding plan, health concerns, seasonal habits, and sales strategy. Quail are not managed like goats. Bees are not managed like ducks. Aquaponic fish require a completely different skill set from turkeys. When you spread yourself too thin, mistakes become more expensive, animals suffer, and the farm starts draining your money instead of supporting your family. If you truly want to succeed, choose one animal from this list and master it for a full year. Learn what it eats, how much it costs, when it produces best, what problems show up in each season, and who in your area is willing to buy the product. Track your feed costs, your labor, your losses, and your real profit. Once that first system is stable, efficient, and bringing in dependable value, then you can think about adding another species. That is how you build a farm that grows with control instead of chaos. Focus first, expand second. This approach protects your budget, prevents burnout, and gives your small farm a much better chance of becoming something that actually supports your life. Conclusion so, there you have it, garden friends. Profitable farming is not about blindly copying what everyone else is doing, and it is not about believing that chickens are the only sensible place to start. Real profit comes from choosing the right animal for your land, your time, your budget, and your local market. Quail can give you fast returns in a tiny space. Rabbits can turn feed into lean meat with incredible efficiency. Honeybees can produce honey, wax, and better pollination across your garden. Ducks can control pests while giving you rich, valuable eggs. Goats can provide milk, cheese, soap, breeding stock, meat, and land-clearing power. Turkeys can create strong seasonal income. And aquaponic fish can help you produce protein and vegetables from one compact water-saving system. The point is not that every farm should raise all seven. The point is that your farm has options. The most valuable animal is the one that fits your situation and can be managed well. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 animals would make the most sense for your farm and why? Share your thoughts in the comments because your experience might help another small farmer make a smarter decision. If this changed the way you think about small-scale farming, make sure to subscribe and join the Farmyard Care community. Every week we share practical, budget-conscious ideas to help you build a more productive and meaningful farm life. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, the most profitable path is often the one fewer people are paying attention to. See you in the next one.